were about to be changed forever by a wicked queen. There's Krabby, Drunky, Hungry, Greedy, Lenny,
Kearney,
and Doc.
Who's the fairest one of all?
You would do in a pinch, my queen. But Snow White's the fairest I have seen. Also, there's a weather girl on Channel 9 who's...
I'm a narcissist.
When the spotlight shines the brightest, even the smallest misstep can spark an avalanche. And for Rachel Zegler, the past few months have been nothing short of a freefall. The once celebrated rising star who had Hollywood buzzing with excitement now finds herself at the center of one of the most talked about parodies of the year. In a bold move that no one saw coming, The Simpsons, known for their razor-sharp wit and fearless commentary, have turned their attention to Zegler in an episode so direct, so unfiltered, that it left even her most devoted fans stunned.
Whoa! She's beautiful.
Maybe she's been placed under some kind of a curse.
And all that will wake her is the kiss of a handsome...
I'm awake already!
The episode, cheekily titled SnowWoke the Reimagining, doesn't just hint at the controversy surrounding Zegler, it dives headfirst into it, making her the unmistakable focus of their latest animated roast. It wasn't long ago that Rachel Zegler was poised to become the next face of Disney royalty, starring in the highly anticipated live-action remake of Snow White. Her breakthrough role in West Side Story had critics calling her one of Hollywood's brightest newcomers, with awards buzz swirling around her and major studios vying for her talents. It seemed that nothing could slow down her meteoric rise. But in a blink, the conversation shifted. Over the past year, Rachel's off-screen commentary has repeatedly ruffled feathers, and her unapologetic stance on sensitive topics left a trail of social media debates, headlines, and plenty of online backlash. What began as minor rumblings from a few critics quickly snowballed into a larger movement of disillusionment among audiences who once admired her fresh energy. Still, the situation seemed manageable until now. The Simpsons, a cultural institution for decades, decided that subtlety wasn't going to cut it. They crafted a character in their new episode who doesn't just resemble Rachel, it embodies every controversial soundbite, every fiery exchange, and every viral moment she's had in the past year. It's a parody so sharp that viewers instantly connected the dots without a single name being mentioned. The precision of the satire left little room for doubt about who was in their crosshairs.
Bring me Snow White's heart in this box.
What'll I do with the rest of the body?
Put it in this box.
The storyline follows a reimagined Snow White, who quickly dismantles every traditional fairy tale trope, confronting would-be heroes with accusations of entitlement and dismissing acts of kindness as patriarchal offenses. One memorable scene has a character offering help, only to be shut down with a scathing monologue about privilege, entitlement, and the oppression of old narratives. It's uncomfortable, exaggerated, and yet eerily familiar to anyone who has followed Rachel's public persona over the past year. The episode doesn't just poke fun, it skewers the idea of the modern woke princess in a way that left viewers howling with laughter and cringing at the accuracy all at once. Almost immediately after the episode aired, the internet lit up like wildfire. Forums, comment sections, TikToks, and trending hashtags buzzed with reactions ranging from belly laughter to secondhand embarrassment. For many, it felt like a collective sigh of relief, the pent-up frustration with Rachel's attitude finally getting a satirical release. Memes flooded social media, with users quoting lines from the episode side by side with clips of Rachel's real-life interviews. It became impossible to separate the parody from reality, but it wasn't just casual viewers joining in. Entertainment, journalists, critics, and even some industry insiders started weighing in too. To them, The Simpsons episode wasn't merely a jab at Zegler, it was a cultural temperature check. A moment where satire said what many had been too cautious to vocalize. Some commentators described it as a mirror being held up to Hollywood's shifting values, while others suggested it was a broader commentary on how quickly a public figure's image can sour. How did it come to this? How did someone once hailed as a refreshing, empowering voice for a new generation become the punchline of one of television's most iconic shows? The answer lies in a series of public missteps that snowballed into something bigger than any one quote or interview could explain. During press tours for Snow White, Rachel made headlines by criticizing the original 1937 film as outdated and problematic. While some praised her for bringing a modern perspective, others saw her comments as disrespectful to the legacy she was stepping into. Her dismissive tone, particularly toward a beloved classic, rubbed longtime Disney fans the wrong way. Sources close to Disney's Snow White project have whispered for months that the studio's excitement over Rachel's casting had cooled considerably. Rumors suggested that her polarizing media presence caused serious internal concern, so much so that marketing strategies for the film were allegedly paused and reworked. A campaign that was once supposed to center around Rachel's historic casting as a Latina Snow White reportedly shifted focus, with more emphasis placed on ensemble elements and the broader story. Adding fuel to the fire was Rachel's rumored tension with her co-star, the globally beloved Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen. Observers pointed to their chilly red carpet moments and noticeably distant interactions during award season appearances. At first, fans brushed off the awkwardness as typical celebrity stress. But behind closed doors, it seems the frostiness was very real. Several anonymous insiders described the dynamic as awkward at best and hostile at worst, hinting at fundamental differences in approach to fame and professionalism. Complicating matters further, several media outlets picked up reports that Disney executives personally intervened, urging Rachel to tone down the fiery rhetoric that was dominating headlines. Calls were made, meetings were scheduled, and polite but firm advice was given. Studio insiders feared that Rachel's public persona was alienating the very audience they needed to support the film. In an industry where brand image is everything, being seen as difficult or divisive can change the trajectory of a career overnight. And now, with The Simpsons adding their voice to the conversation in the most public way possible, the damage might be tipping into territory that's hard to walk back from. For a long time, there was a sense that Rachel's star power and sheer talent could override the bad press. But satire has a unique power. It cements narratives. It amplifies what whispers can only hint at. And when a show with the legacy of The Simpsons decides you're fair game, it's a sign that the culture at large has shifted. Yet, despite the swirling controversy, there are still voices defending Rachel. Some argue that she is being unfairly targeted for speaking her mind in an industry that often punishes authenticity. Others believe that the backlash has more to do with a cultural shift away from the hyper-political tones that dominated Hollywood discussions in recent years. Whatever the reason, one thing is undeniable. Rachel Zegler has found herself at a critical crossroads. Question now is whether Rachel can recalibrate her public image, reclaim her narrative, and win back the audience that once cheered her on. Or whether the momentum has swung too far, the parody too sharp, or the perception too deeply set. Hollywood loves comeback stories, but it also has a short memory of when the next fresh face appeared on the horizon. For now, Rachel Zegler's saga remains a living example of how fast the tides can turn in the entertainment world. One moment, you're the belle of the ball. The next, you're the subject of pop culture's most unforgiving comedy. Whether this chapter is the beginning of a long-term setback or simply a stumbling block in an otherwise stellar career remains to be seen. But one thing is for certain, everyone is watching to see what Rachel Zegler does next.